Hi, hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome back to Cosmic Lovers Tarot. I hope you guys have been well. I took a little break from filming. Didn't really plan to, but just life is, I've been working a lot, my other job, so I'm happy to be back here. I also went on vacation briefly, went to the beach for a few days with my dogs and my mom for her birthday, so that was really fun. Anyways, I'm back and happy to be back. Okay, so today's reading is going to be for an Aquarius. I got these cute little cat pins while I was on vacation. I have one for every sign, so that's how I've been choosing which signs are going to get read, like in what order to do the zodiac readings. And so anyways, I thought as an Aquarius, you might like to see your little cat pin. Again, you could be an Aquarius sun, moon, or rising. And the spread that I'm going to be using today is called Pushing Through. It's for those of you who are currently facing some type of obstacle in your life, and we'll get more information on what this is as the reading progresses, but basically we're going to look at what's going on with your current situation, what is the obstacle, and some advice on how you can push through that obstacle. So, without further ado, I'm going to push this up here and scatter some citrine on the situation, and we're going to get right into it. Okay, so I'm going to pull an oracle card for you to get started from the Soulflower Spirit Plant Spirit Oracle deck. And if you enjoyed this deck, I actually did a full deck flip through of this on my channel, so you can look for that. I will link to it in the description box below. Alright, so vibe check for Aquarius. Wow, okay, so we've got Borage, Optimism. Let me stash these cards over here and pick up my fallen guys here. Okay, so let's see what we've got for you to start off with. Borage, Optimism. Sweet borage encourages playfulness and spontaneity to help uplift your spirits when you're feeling disheartened and blue. Borage will help you to rise above sorrow and depression and instill fresh courage, enthusiasm, and confidence in your ability to move through life's obstacles. Well, that's kind of on the nose, isn't it? Since this is a pushing through obstacles spread. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to stash this over here for now, and we will get more into that in a minute. This may be a mental health oriented spread or reading, just given the fact that this has already come through. Sorry, I swear this is the most obnoxious part about doing this, is just getting the cards, getting everything on camera and having space for everything. So, just one more second here. Let's push this guy up. Just want to make sure we have room for all the cards when they come up. All right, let's get into this. I'm going to start with the Disney Villains Tarot. Move my camera over just a little bit. All right, so what is going on with Aquarius? Oh, okay. Current situation for Aquarius, please. Current situation for Aquarius. Okay. Strength in reverse. So I'm getting the sense that there's there's this feeling emanating from you guys right now that's like, what is the fucking point? You know? Like, why am I going through this? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? There's kind of a feeling like you've been in the trenches for a while in regards to this situation. I'm seeing this Strength card here. It's kind of being these like two sides of you. You may be at odds with yourself over something. It's like an inner conflict going on. And, you know, strength is all about rising above our more animalistic or primal natures and not, I don't want to say repressing things, but it's more like strength is a gentle force. Strength is the epitome of the reparentification process. When you have to be the parent that you didn't have, you have to be the mom that you didn't have, or the father that you didn't have. You have to go back and teach yourself the things that you didn't necessarily get that weren't modeled to you in your life. So it's very difficult, obviously, to do that. I've totally forgot where I was going with, sorry. Okay, so yes, it seems to me like what is going on here is there's an inner conflict going on for you. And not only that, I'm also feeling like perhaps you're having some shame about the way that you're handling a situation. Maybe some negative self-talk, or like you're being too hard on yourself, maybe. But again, there's definitely this feeling like, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Like, when are things going to get better? But there was something I wanted to say about strength specifically. Oh, right. So yeah, strength is like feminine power kind of rising up. That's why the Rider-Waite Tarot, or the Waite-Smith Tarot, always shows like a woman, you know, standing over a lion. It's like, I like to think of strength as your second thought sometimes. Like when you have an automatic instinct to do something that, I don't know, I don't want to say that you know is wrong, but you know, you react to something in a way that kind of shames you. And so you course correct, or you self-correct by going, no, I know that I'm better than that. That's a little bit of like what's going on here. But for some reason, and I'll have to get more information about this, because it's a little hazy right now, but I definitely see that you're dealing with there's some type of inner conflict going on. Oh, yeah. So your obstacle is the devil in reverse. Okay. So yeah, no wonder this is so complicated. Okay, so when we're looking at both strength and the devil, we're honestly looking at really two sides of the same coin going on here. You know, the devil card is representative of everything that keeps us tied to the material world, the shackles that keep us kind of confined to a lower spiritual vibration. So the devil card can often be an indication that you're leveling up spiritually. You're ascending because you are actually able to like identify and name and see what your personal devil is. For a lot of people, this is addiction, but in your case, it looks to me like there might be something in your life that you're maybe not acknowledging is going on. I'm going to pull more cards because these are tricky. These are tricky cards anyways. Given that both of these are in reverse, it makes me think that there's a lot going on under the surface for you right now, Aquarius, which is probably why your reading is hazy right now. It's like I'm seeing what you're dealing with, but it's like, okay, if you're experiencing irrational emotions or lethargy, I think a lot of this is a lot of this has to do with the fact that sometimes when you go through, there's something here about trauma being stored in the body to the point where the mind doesn't quite understand it. There's something that you're going through where you're beating yourself up unnecessarily. Aquarius, you're being hard on yourself about not being able to push through or not being able to rise to the occasion, or like you're but what you're not acknowledging, and I think that part of this is what this obstacle is, what you're not acknowledging is that you are doing the work, even if you don't think that you're doing the work. You really are. And I think that ties back into play with this like Borage optimistic message here. You're being encouraged, Aquarius, to like flip the script on yourself. Is there an aspect of your life that you could actually look at and see, no, I am working. I am showing up for myself. Just because you're not out of a Vipassana retreat or doing shadow work or making a trip to, I don't know, Peru to do ayahuasca, and these are just random, I'm just throwing these out, but these might resonate with you. There's this feeling that for you, like, so one thing that I'm really picking up on, which is so exciting, is that you are really like chomping at the bit to level up spiritually. I can tell you're a very spiritual person. You're like ready to do it. Like you're ready to do the work. You're ready to do shadow work, but you're not quite sure where to go or like how to plug into it. Maybe you're just getting started learning about this stuff. Maybe you really want to deepen your magical practice, or you really want to get into tarot or astrology, and you just feel like you're dealing with other shit right now, though. And I can't tell right now, but I will get some more information. I can't tell if this is like material world stuff. Okay, for some of you, this is like a toxic relationship, or for some of you, this is like a job that's just draining you. There's something going on in your life that on the surface looks like it is pulling you away from your spiritual goal, which is ascension, leveling up, getting to the next level, like enlightenment, right? And I just want you to know that like the universe is acknowledging the work that you've put in, and your desire for enlightenment, your desire for spiritual evolution, that in and of itself is beautiful. Just the fact that you want it. And this is really a lesson for you in trusting divine timing and trusting that things are going to work out for you, and that just because you don't have the time, like, I feel like, so it's almost like, and I totally relate to what you're going through. It's almost like you're looking at the hours and the times and the minutes of your life, your day, and you can't seem to figure out how to put as much time into your spiritual practice as you want to. You feel like you've kind of, fallen off track or something. Or either you feel like you've fallen off track, or you feel like you don't quite know where to start. You don't know how to carve out this groove of space and time for yourself. And what's really cool is that when you show up and you tell the universe, I want to be better spiritually, I want to level up, I want to be, I want to vibe higher. We do that often because we want to be better for the people in our lives, right? We want to be more positive influences. We want to be happier. We want to be lighter. We want to vibe higher so that we can help others, share our story in the hopes that it helps other people. It's like you always want to take everybody with you when you vibe up. And there's a little bit of what's going on right now is like, I'm hearing there's something about like selfishness. So maybe you feel like you're being selfish, but if you do, you're not, because right now you're putting your own oxygen mask on right now, and that's great. What we have here, both of these major arcanas in reverse here, is like this, you are doing the work, even if it doesn't look like it. Like, this is the big thing, is like the universe knows what we need, and the universe has this beautiful way of putting everybody in the right place where they need to be at the right time, even if it doesn't feel like it. And so you can feel like you're spinning your wheels, and you can feel like you're not getting enough done, and you can feel like you're not as high up on the mountain as you want to be, and you're like, I'm running out of time, or this isn't. But No, you're fine. You are right where you need to be. And again, like in a lot of ways, all work can be spiritual work if you look at it through the lens of spiritual work. You know, going to work to your bullshit job. Like, if you have a bullshit job, I completely empathize with you. You know, I wish I could be a full-time tarot reader and tarot scholar and spiritualist. Trust me, I would in a heartbeat. But I have a job that I have to go to every day. Maybe try to find ways to bleed your spiritual practice, weave your spiritual practice in with your day-to-day job, you know? If, for instance, like, practice visualizations while you're at work if you can. You know, there's always something to do in the internal world. I actually had to tell myself this the other day. I like wrote this in my journal because I was like, don't forget, you can always practice your visualizations. You can always practice that. I do a grounding visualization practice that I do every morning, and it involves like growing roots from my legs that then push through into the center of the earth and like connect in. And so at work, and I work with the public, so I get drained a lot. And one of the things that I do at work to keep myself connected is I will visualize myself growing those roots, see them like sink into the ground, see the energy, earth energy come back up to my body. You know, just you can also play around with energies. If you're spiritually inclined, which I have the sense just from these two cards alone, I can tell that probably you are. You have... I mean, everyone's spiritually inclined, but you know what I mean? You might be like a healer or in that healer genre of person. Playing around with energies while you're at your muggle job can be really helpful and fun too, you know? Just like pausing, incorporating mindfulness into your day, you know? Just step back for a minute while you're working and just like feel the energy around you. What is the energy like right now? Does it have a color? You know, practice seeing auras, not just auras of people, but auras of things, you know, or if you're into tarot and astrology, then, you know, guess people's signs, you know, what does that look like? Or if you overhear a conversation at work, like think, what tarot card does that relate to? You know, there are all these ways that you can stay up, you can stay connected to your spiritual practice, even when you are, even when you're doing something else. But even bigger than that, I guess what I was trying to say was that like all work can be spiritual work because we don't know what the universe has in store for us. We don't know what the bigger plan is, you know? I can completely empathize with where you're at, where you feel like you're not putting your strength in the right place. You're like, you feel like your energy is misplaced, but no, trust me. I mean, this is all happening under the surface, but it is happening. The universe has heard your call, has heard what you asked, and the universe is showing up for you and making sure that this actually happens for you. Let's get your advice. I'm going to pull some more cards. Yeah, you're being celebrated, Aquarius. I want you to know that. There's like a lot of celebration going on for you in my head right now from more than likely your guides, the universe at large. You should definitely be proud of yourself. You know, I can't tell exactly what you've done, what you've been through, but I can tell just given the two major arcanas that popped up for you that what you've been through is intense. You know, I always say when you get a reading and it's predominantly majors, which, I mean, I know we haven't gone that far yet, but it indicates that you're in a big soul growth spurt, you know, and it can take time for those waves to like to level out and for you to actually start seeing the oh my goodness. Okay, so your advice is the Fool. Holy shit. Yeah, so you're all majors. And Ace of Swords in reverse for back of the deck energy. Okay, yeah, so this is about changing your way of thinking, guys. I don't usually do this, but if, well, I mean, I guess it's okay to say, if if you enjoy psychedelics, now would be a really good time to go to have a psychedelic trip. For some reason, this Fool card, which has never shown up for me like this before, this Fool card showed up for me as the afterglow feeling of the day after a psychedelic trip. You have this fresh energy about you that feels like the world looks scrubbed new, like it's shiny and clean and it's just for you. And every breath is sacred and every moment is sacred and every interaction means something. And it's like God, I get emotional just thinking about it because it really is the most beautiful feeling I've ever felt in my life. That feeling where everything is precious, you know? And it's like it slows everything down to this point where you can really fine-tunely appreciate every little moment. And it's not just that it's sacred and it's not just that it's precious, it's that it's meaningful. There's meaning in everything that you do. You can have, there are no casual interactions in this headspace. Everything is poignant. Everything means something. And that is one of the most intoxicating and beautiful feelings I've ever felt. I've had it a handful of times in my life outside of the psychedelic experience, but one really good way to like capture that and bring it back to you is well, meditation is a great one. If you don't have a meditation practice already, I encourage you to start one, even just like 5 minutes a day. That will help you kind of weaving mindfulness into your day mimics that psychedelic afterglow effect where now it's not instantaneous, you know, but sometimes it can be. I went through my meditation practice has evolved over the years. And at the beginning, it was very much like on the days that I meditated in the morning, I had that afterglow effect during the day. Now, not so much. Now, interestingly enough, now meditation seems to have an overall overarching effect on my life, but it doesn't so much affect the day-to-day. Now, that being said, what we want to do is we want to, again, flip your script, Aquarius. We want to get you to fall back in love with your life again. You've been through the ringer. You've gone through something really intense, and it's almost like you're still reeling from it and you haven't allowed yourself to pause and accept that the bad part is over and now the good part can stop. And that's what the Fool is all about. The Fool is all about, okay, I'm going to jump off this cliff right now, you know? And one of the interesting things that is fun to check out with the Fool is, this is not the Waite Smith Fool card. This is a different one, obviously. This is Kronk. But the idea is still the same, right? I think it's interesting that this Kronk has the devil and angel on the shoulder because first of all, so that's really interesting because when I pulled your strength card, I was seeing these alligators as an angel and a devil, like two sides of you, kind of like an inner conflict thing going on. And you obviously have the devil card showing up here. So I think I'm going to have to pull a few more cards to actually understand like what is going on with this inner conflict that you have going on, right? But for now, what I can say is a fresh perspective. That's what the Ace of Swords in reverse usually represents, but not so much. Okay, so sorry. Ace of Swords typically means like a fresh idea or a novel thing, but this Ace of Swords in reverse often makes me think of kind of the opposite of that. So basically uprooting an entrenched negative thought pattern, right? For some of you, like I said, this is about the bad shit is over, and yet you're still kind of reeling from what you went through. So the cards that you have now are so beautiful because it's almost like the Fool wants you to recognize just how intense what you went through was and how much leveling up you have done. I think for a lot of you, this was happening under the surface. You know, we have to remember that, like I said, when it comes to processing traumas and moving through entrenched pains and sufferings, a lot of times that growth and that healing will manifest outside of the traditional patterns. Meaning, maybe, I don't know, maybe you had this is like a silly example, but like it can manifest as stomach aches. It can manifest as insomnia. It can manifest as, anxiety, yes, but also randomly crying for no reason. Also lethargy, being unable to get out of bed for days on end. And maybe just you may have been in a triggering environment and you didn't even realize you were in a triggering environment, but you've been getting up every day. You've been going to work. You've been showing up and consistently doing the work. And that, even though you don't think that you've been doing the work, you have been doing the work the whole time. And that's what this fresh perspective and this Fool-like energy is. Going back to psychedelics, if you enjoy psychedelics, now would be a great time to try that. If you don't, I'm not encouraging anybody to do something they don't want to do, but if you've tried psychedelics in the past and you've enjoyed them, now would be a great time for a trip. But also another thing that might be really great for you is microdosing. Again, that's a great way to kind of infuse this full energy into your life. If you have access to LSD or psilocybin, microdosing is phenomenal. I'm going to write down so I don't forget. I'm going to link you to my favorite protocols. Oh, goodness, sorry. Of course, I don't have any scratch paper in my office right now. But yeah, so there's a couple protocols that are very, they're just amazing. So the two that I'm going to link you to are the Stamets protocol, and this is for psilocybin, but it also includes other mushrooms as well. So he actually does a whole stack with lion's mane, psilocybin, niacin, and cordyceps mushrooms. Don't quote me on that, but I'll link you to it. So for the Stamets protocol, what you do is you dose 5 days on, 2 days off, I want to say. And you do a finger dip. So you grind up the mushrooms into like a little powder, and then you dip your finger into it. You start with your smallest finger, and you do a tiny finger dip, and you try that, and you see how your day goes. If you didn't feel it at all, then go up a finger. So try your next biggest finger, dip that. On the day that you feel it, you want to know that is a too high of a dose. You want to go back. So say I felt it on my middle finger, okay? Or so say I tried pinky on the first day, ring on the second day, index on the third day. On the fourth day, I tried my middle finger, and I felt the effects of it. And you're not going to feel a lot. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. You're going to feel maybe a little giggly, or things are going to sparkle and shimmer a little bit. If you feel it, too much. You're looking for a sub-perceptual dose when it comes to microdosing. You don't want to feel it. So you're going to go back to the last dose that you took before you felt it, your index finger. And that's going to be your dose. So then you're going to dose 5 days in a row, and then you're going to take 2 days off. You're going to do that for 1 month, okay? And just keep a journal of that time. Keep a little log, I recommend starting a new journal and just maybe going ahead and writing out dose day, break day, so that it's in your journal. And it can be really fun too if you decide that you want to do a habit and stack a habit during this time. But either way, the effects are really, really great. I can't recommend microdosing enough. Now, the Fadiman protocol is for LSD, and it is similar, but you take 1/10 of a hit of LSD, split up, or you take 1 hit over the course of a month. So you take 1/10 of a hit every 3 days. So you have a dose day, an afterglow day and an off day. A lot of people reported actually feeling more effects, or not more effects, but feeling better the second day because of that afterglow that we talked about. So anyways, I think that would be really helpful for you. That's some very practical advice. And of course, I feel the need to put out the disclaimer. If you have not tried psychedelics or you feel uncomfortable about trying them, don't go out of your comfort zone just because a tarot reader told you to, obviously. But if you have been feeling like you wanted to do that, this is your sign. Go ahead and do that. That would be a really great way to kind of signal to yourself that that time is over and we have moved into a new phase. And that is what you're doing right now, Aquarius. You're moving into a brand new phase. And there's a part of you that's still, like I said, kind of looking backwards and hasn't quite accepted that the hard part is over and you've moved into a new phase where things can be easier and smoother. I'm just going to get a little bit of clarification now on these cards for you, and we will wrap this up. All right, clarification on strength. Three of Wands. Yeah, so energetically, it feels like you're going, I'm hearing that song, There's Got to Be More to Life, but there is this feeling like you feel cramped. You feel like you're not doing enough, or you feel like your energy isn't going where it needs to go. It's almost like you're looking at other people really, you've got some envy going on for other people's lives and the way that they're living. And I feel that, you're seeing these people, globe trotting and going on, and doing big things with their life. And you're just being reminded now that it's a beautiful phase to be here. Sometimes the universe forces us into moments where we have to show our strength. And I think that for a lot of us, the reason that happens is because, now I don't know if this is true or not, this is just my feeling, but I feel like some of us made contracts before we were born that said, I want to be challenged, I want to grow, please confine me so that I can, make it impossible for me to not grow during this incarnation. And there's a little bit of that going on here for you guys. I really just want to drill into you, make sure that you know that you are growing. There is so much growth here being shown. There's so much just leveling up that you've done with being able to overcome these difficult moments and stay strong and true to yourself despite the circumstances that you're in. I get the sense that some of you are in very difficult circumstances, and you've persevered through that. All right, clarification on Devil. Whoa. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, Three of Cups. So for some of you, this might actually be, now I feel weird about encouraging you to do psychedelics, because it looks like for some of you, there might be something going on with substances that you would want to confront. The only reason I say that is because Devil often deals with addiction, and Three of Cups is a classic drinking card, or like revelry card. But to be honest, I can't quite tell if this is shame surrounding substances or if you really do have a problem. Now, this might be because, honestly, it's almost impossible to tell that, given the way that our society looks at drugs and the way that drugs are used, the implications of the fact that it's been like pounded into our brains that the war on drugs and the Dare Project, and like, if you do this, then you are an addict. There's not enough people presenting alternative points of view on that, and so it can actually be almost impossible to tell because I'm actually in a stage right now where I myself am having to undo a lot of this. So the best that I can say about this, I can't tell you whether or not your substance use is a problem. Only you can tell yourself that. But what is happening here is there is definitely some shame here in regards to drinking, drugs, something like that. Some of you may have lost partners or lost jobs or lost family because of your drinking or drug use. And honestly, I'll level with you. I can't tell if you have a problem. I can't tell if your family, friends, etc. have been overreacting. I don't know. Because I think that is a deeply personal question that only you can answer for yourself. Is my drinking / drugging beneficial to my life, or is it hurting my life? There's no easy answer. I don't know. I feel like I want to tell you about Dr. Carl Hart. If you don't already know about him, he is amazing. Where's his book? I know I have it. Huh. I'm positive I have this book. Oh, here it is. Drug Use for Grown-Ups, Chasing Liberty in the Land of Fear. This guy was on Joe Rogan. I highly recommend checking out the episode. It's refreshing to have an alternate viewpoint. And again, I'm not saying, if you want literature about how to get sober, Russell Brand's book is amazing. Recovery, Russell Brand. I haven't worked through it yet, but I will at some point. It's on the list. But if you want information on how to tell if you're an addict and, and then how to get sober, there's a million different programs out there, or not a million different programs, but there's a million different references out there for you. There's AA, there's NA, there's also Smart Recovery, there's also Refuge Recovery, which I really like. They're a Buddhist-based recovery program that doesn't have a lot of the same dogma and rigid morality that AA has. But that being said, if you want an alternate viewpoint about drug use, and in America, I haven't read this book yet. It's a library copy, but I have listened to him on Joe Rogan, and it's refreshing. And I think that it's important when we're trying to decide who we are, what works for us, what doesn't work for us. It's good to hear a myriad of perspectives, right? And it's hard when we live in this binary where it's only, if you smoke crack, then you are also, you also live on the street. Or you can't hold down a job. You can't be a functional heroin addict, for instance. Well, Carl Hart says that you can actually be a functional drug user, that it's very possible to be a recreational drug user that also has a thriving career. And that's what he talks about in his book. And so just knowing that, there is a whole spectrum out there. And I got to say, this stuff, the shame that has been pounded into our heads about using substances is maddening to me. It because it's so difficult to disentangle yourself from that and actually figure out, I often wonder if so many people are addicts simply because they were told that if you do this, because fucking the DARE program told all of us, our age group and younger and older, that if you try this one time, you'll be hooked for life. And how many people internalized that, tried it the one time, and then got hooked for life because of that? It's almost like that type of fear-based, fear-mongering, hyper, bullshit ends up actually ensnaring people in the very drugs that they're trying to keep people away from. It's very frustrating. And there's something about that just needs to be addressed with you, or wants to be addressed, and it's not... And again, like I said, it's not for me to say one way or the other. I can't tell you, but you can tell you. And you can also feel free to experiment, like and I don't mean with drugs, I mean with your own sobriety, like you don't have to be sober for life. Just try it on, you can try it on for a month, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, do a year, and whatever feels good for you, you can, maybe that would be better, to like taking a break, doing a sober October, or something like that, or a dry July, or because, July is coming up, or, and just see how you feel and see what happens. Yeah, I think I might do something like that, actually. I think that'd be really fun for me. So yeah, maybe if I do dry July, I'll check in with y'all and let you know how it's going. But anyways, I didn't mean to get on a tangent about that. I just wanted to bring that up because it's, like I said, it's very, very, very tricky to sort out. So if you're struggling with that, just know that it's not your fucking fault. It's the fact that it's permeated through the ether to the point where none of us can figure out what's true and what's not anymore when it comes to drugs. But people like Carl Hart are actually trying to take a stand and speak honestly about it. So that's a good start. All right. And final advice. Oh, wow. Page of Swords. Oh, yeah. This is all about your thinking. So, you are Ace of Cups in reverse. Wow. All right, got Ace of Swords in reverse, Ace of Cups in reverse. Great. All right, Aquarius, you are brilliant. The cards want to point out how smart you are. You are wicked smart. Now, unfortunately, wicked smart can go a couple ways in our society, right? Or just in life in general. You are so smart that you can talk yourself into anything and talk yourself out of anything. What you are being encouraged to do now is flip that script. Go back through the things in your life, look at your life, and just be determined to put on those rose-colored glasses. I know you can do it because you're brilliant. There are moments in your life that have looked like they were just a slog of pain for no fucking reason, and that's not true. Everything that you've done, everything that you've been through has expanded your heart's capacity to love, to feel, to have empathy for others. You're weaving a gorgeous tapestry of your life that is rich with all the experiences that have made you you, and that is what I want you to focus on. I had a good friend years ago who used to say, or someone told her, put it in your story or do it for your story, and like there's moments when you might be confronted with a question or, an offer to do something, and just like imagine what your life story would be if you said yes, like life stories are constructed of yeses, not nos, and I understand if you're in a phase right now where you're kind of hermiting at everything. I am too. I totally get it. But your life is starting over again. The sad times have gone away. I mean, for now, anyways, And I don't mean that in like, you're never going to have a bad day again. I mean, these times, these dark times, and I know that you're going to know what I'm talking about when I say this. Those dark times that made you who you are, that have made you so strong, the Fool is telling you, come on, it's time to move on, It's time to take that leap of faith again. maybe even plan like a spontaneous trip for yourself, you know? But definitely, you know, the Page of Swords is usually some quick energy. It's a fast new idea, but I think in your case, this is actually you plugging along just a little bit at a time, day by day, like just etching out these new thought groups for yourself, etching more positivity into your life, etching more beauty into your story, and believing that everything that you've gone through has had a purpose. And, you know, I'm kind of just saying the same thing over and over again, but really, I'm so proud of you. Like, the cards are so proud of you, what you've been through. You know, you definitely have some thinking to do, some stuff to contemplate, but you're so smart. You're so smart. You're going to be able to figure it out in no problem whatsoever. So I'm going to read you your spirit oracle, and we'll get you your affirmation and a little journal prompt, and I'll let you go. All right, here's your borage. Tuning into the news every day gives us a bleak outlook on our world. It is not hard. Sorry, had to say hi to my dog. Tuning into the news every day gives us a bleak outlook on our world. It is not hard to get dragged down into the quagmire of unproductive, hopeless, and fearful thinking. It seems that everywhere we turn there is danger and disaster, suffering and violence. It takes an enormous amount of strength to be able to be able to maintain a positive outlook in the face of this steady stream of information. Borage is reminding us that reality is simply a reflection of our inner landscape, both good and bad. And only through remembering to look for the good in our world and the joy in our lives can we begin to make the internal and external shift from pessimism to optimism. Can you see the life-giving rays of the sun streaming through your windows, or do you focus on the dust that, previously hidden, is now apparent and plentiful everywhere? Perhaps you can see both. We can ignore the dust, of course, but that doesn't mean that it isn't there. We know sorrow and pain and depression are not imaginary. We are sentient beings, and we are meant to feel it all, the dark and the light. And in recognizing the truth, also know that we have the strength and power to handle it, to move through it, and rejoice in the warmth of the sun. The dust is still there, but we are no longer slave to it. Borage flowers look like little shooting stars, and what do you do when you see a shooting star? You make a wish. This may seem like a silly carryover from childhood, but in our grown-up, responsible world, it can be hard to be spontaneous and to tap into the imaginative realms of our youth. We need to remember how to play, to dream, and to fantasize. How can we possibly create our best lives and contribute to the greater good of the world if we can't feel or envision that this world is even possible? When the suckies strike, Borage wants you to tap into your creative power in order to imagine our world as the kind of place that exists in your heart and dreams. She encourages you to put every ounce of your energy into remembering that we are all creating this world, not just passive participants in it. Ask any young child, they know that together we can imagine a better world. Is the cup half full or half empty? Your affirmation is, I know I can do this. And I know you can do it too, Aquarius. You got this. Like I said, you're wicked smart, so use your intelligence for good, and just remember that, like, the power of positive thinking sounds so cliche and so silly, but really it does make a huge difference in your life. Because you're so smart, I'll present it to you as a challenge. I participated in Mitch Horowitz's Positive Mental Attitude Challenge a couple of years ago. It was amazing. For 30 days, we made a pledge to only think positive thoughts. And that's a lot harder than it sounds. So every time a negative thought popped into my head, I had to flip it to something positive. And it actually became like a really fun challenge that felt to me like mental calisthenics, you know? So I would get a thought, for instance, like one that was like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, I have so much stuff I have to do. And I would go, nope, how can I flip this? And it becomes like a little puzzle, you know? Okay, so I would flip it to, wow, I'm so grateful and I'm so lucky that I have so many things I'm interested in, right? So you can play that game with yourself, and maybe when you're stuck at your bullshit job that you don't like, you can counter those negative thoughts and just try to flip them, and I'll join you in that because I haven't done that in a while, and I could use a little pick me up as well. So with that, I will leave you. Thank you for letting me read your cards. It was a sincere pleasure. I enjoyed every minute of your reading, and I hope that everything goes super well for you in the future. If there's anything you want to chat about, feel free to drop me a comment down below. If you enjoyed the content, please give the video a like and subscribe for more videos. All right, take care. Bye.